Yo guys, I'm Yellow, a Norwegian hardcore PC gamer, and today I figured that we should talk about how balanced Counter-Strike is right now. And I'm not talking about guns, I'm talking about map balance, in which, a lot of the maps have been updated all across the board, so that is going to be the main dish for today. A quick note, I'm a little bit rusty with my voice, got that lovely cold, so I'll try and do my best, okay? Anyways, so Valve has done a lot of changes towards the map pool, technical changes, also with the game mechanics themselves, but also some psychological changes, which are pretty sneaky, in which I'll cover all of that. But first, let's go through the technical stuff that they have done towards the game, in which alter the game towards more balance in very obvious but epic ways. So the first one, obvious one, is going to be how the game has gotten new animations, and with that, new hitboxes, which, technically speaking, obviously also based on skill, gives every single gun that you can use, well, a slight buff. Contrary to this, they have also nerfed the M4A1, which you probably know, in which the maximum accuracy of the gun has been decreased a slight bit, the spray and the fire rate has been worsened a lot, and what this do mean, however, is that, CTs aren't as powerful as they used to be, and terrorists are a little bit more skilled if they do play skilled. Combine all of this with how pre, mid, and post-game banter have been nullified, essentially. You can't really talk with your opponents anymore. You now actually focus, technically speaking, way more on the game and tactics and teamwork and team play and pushes and other technicalities towards how to play in the map and such. This is really good in terms of gauging skill, contrary to anything else, any kind of other external bullshit that is not related to playing the game, which is what Valve has thus done. Really clever stuff. However, those are more or less most of the technical things, but they have actually also done some other technically very clever mental things, which I'll cover that in a second. Almost forgot to mention that they've also, remade Train, which used to be insanely T-sided, but now, the current one is a little bit more depending on whether or not you actually play the map a lot and is skilled or not, in which also it's rumored that Nuke will get a remake as well, and that some other map is now going to go into reproduction. Gonna get interesting to see how that is going to go down. But however, the point and the theme is that now maps are in general more balanced on their own, because also Nuke is not really played anymore, which is kind of sad. But the point, though, is that this all creates balance. But when you double down with a mental kind of game that Valve is altering as well, stuff gets really epic. So if you don't know, Valve has been talking about communicating more with the community, and they haven't really done that, but they have still done that in a very clever way, in which they're recognizing that the players out there that spend the most time on playing the game, that would be similar to like me or pro players or pretty much anybody that got like 2,000 hours or more at the game. They will know a lot about the quirky, nitpicky details about the game and how to play the game, the meta game strategies, annoying things, good things and such, in which Valve is constantly communicating with people at pro events, pro players at pro events. What this means in that scenario is that when they then make alterations, obviously those are going to be really good towards the narrative that they want to push in terms of playing the game, right? As far as I can tell, and as far as you could probably tell, that is going towards gauging people's skill properly, which is why all the map changes has been done in this kind of scenario, even though, again, I personally don't like that every single map is going to be balanced. It doesn't really make any sense, and the map veto process for pro players actually becomes less important and less interesting and less fun in that scenario. But that aside, for us casuals, this is really good, because a lot of times people just play one or two maps, right? Maybe one, and thus that aspect doesn't really matter too much to us. However, what they've also done in that scenario, thus, is to not publish any data at all about whether or not a map is T or CT-sided, a lot as well. In which they, believe me, they have all the spreadsheets from matchmaking and such. Like, they got all the data, whether or not one map might be T or CT-sided, more or less. In which not publishing that data gives a lot of players that might be easy of mind when they're playing Counter-Strike. Maybe their mental game is not the strongest. They don't get an easy scapegoat of sucking on any side that they're playing on, which thus means that they are not going to get pulled down as easily into the mud, and they're actually instead thus going to play the game, focus on getting the kills that they need, the key frags and such things. Aside from, team play and reading the opponent properly and the money game and such, which the more you enforce those things, the better it is in general. So yeah, it's kind of interesting how Valve is just denying us information, and with that actually doing us a favor, in which a great example of how having a very raw mentality like I do, for example, I personally don't care if I'm T or CT side at any fucking map. I couldn't give a bigger shit, but that might be because I got 4,500 hours of Call of Duty played in my past. That includes Call of Duty 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a little bit of 10 and some of 11. The last Call of Duty games just play like ass, and I'm not even gonna bother with the Black Ops 3, even if it got decent frame rate. But the point though is that I've literally played, learned all the grenade spots, all the flanking routes, all the rushing routes, all the, like, I don't know, like 80 to 100 maps externally from the maps in CSGO. So obviously I'm not gonna give a shit if I'm playing a T or CT sided map. But that mentality, if you can take that and put that into matchmaking, you're probably gonna be able to get some seriously insane and sick players out from that after a couple of years, in which Valve is essentially doing that. Whether or not they're doing it consciously or not, I really like this trend. Yeah, you know, also with Guardian being able to use the map, I mean the AWP godlike, you know, Guardian, the Na'Vi player. Obviously the game still have a decent skill ceiling that you can hit and live within, so it's gonna get interesting to see how Valve is going to allow this game to grow, and also with the events that is going to come down eventually right now. But if there's anything that I want you people to take from playing this game, it will be that the more skilled you are, the better you're going to play any map regardless, even if you're playing T-side on Nuke. Maybe you can do what Nip was able to do in 2013 and 14, get a 9-round comeback on T-side on Nuke, because they're skilled, huh? So anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video, hopefully you learned something about the mental game, and I have no clue why I'm doing this voice, or map balance and such, which doesn't really matter too much anymore, which is kind of cool. Here are 2 related videos if you want to support me and my crazy screwed voice, cause colds and such. We got the Patreon page, and you know, aside from that, I'm fucking broke, so there you go. Anyways, thanks for watching, and yeah, have a nice day, and don't get beastified when you play.